do is, if you want to find out where you are on the vitamin D scale, you can just contact these people. You can order a test kit. They're not linked to them at all. vitamindtest.org.uk. And it's a simple blood spot test. You prick the underside of your second finger, put 4 blood spots on a card, send the card back to them. Generally in about 7 to 12 working days, they will then send you a little certificate. And if you want, lots of people just hit the forward button, or don't even forward me the sheet, just give me the figure. It's going to be a figure between 0 to 300. And where we want you, as we'll find out in a minute, is we want you at 220 on the scale. Now, what I say is don't take the test straight away, because if you've not supplemented vitamin D, or if you haven't been to the Seychelles on an extended holiday, you're going to be low, so you're just going to waste the test. It's not going to tell you anything you don't already know. So here's how this is the vitamin D scale. It's measured in something called nanomoles. The nanomole scale is used by everybody except for America and Canada. So you know this will do Europe and it does us. Now, if you became a lifeguard and had safe and limited access to sunlight, you would build levels up to no more than 150. Where we want you is, we want to slightly overcrank you to 220, so anywhere from 200 to 220 is your target, after which you would then maintain yourself at that level at 5,000 IUs a day, which is a little tiny pea-sized soft gel. All right? Now, to get where you want to be, to go up the scale, you've got to take a lot more vitamin D than 5,000. So I normally recommend people take 20,000, 30,000 a day. These are, again, each of those little pea-sized soft gels, we do them, other people do them. You just take about 4 to 6 of them a day, run that thing for 2 weeks, and in that couple of week period, get the test kit in, stick it in the drawer, and then at the end of 2 weeks, test to see where you are, send me the result, we'll take a look and see where you're on the scale, and then we'll bump you up the remaining bit of it, and then after that, you can then just maintain the 5,000 per day. Now, I recommend that people test twice a year. A good idea would be on the equinoxes, not for any mystical reasons other than March the 20th is my wife's birthday. Well, it's where you're coming out of a British winter, and also September the 23rd, this is the other equinox, is when you're going back into the British winter. This keeps you, and I've done this for years, this keeps you up all the time. And then you can go out and lie on the grass, go on holiday and all the rest of it. If you're going on, if you're going on holiday, a hot holiday, you don't need to take the vitamin D with you when you come back, just pick it up after that. You know what? I was dealing with somebody the other day who was, they were from Ghana, and they had a daughter who was just sitting on the stairs, staring at the wall, in deep, deep depression. And I said to the mum, test this girl for vitamin D, and while you're going through that testing process, start shoving 20,000 units into it. I get a phone call maybe 5 days later, and the mum is just, oh my God, what the heck is that? It brought this girl to life. When we tested her, she was 9 on the scale. There was more vitamin D in the corpse than in that young girl. Plus she's got black skin and she lives in the land of no sunshine. You get the idea? So nobody's talking about this because it's a racist thing, we don't talk about skin colour. And this is condemning people to absolute misery. So that's vitamin D. Next on the list, what we want to look at is magnesium. So I like to give them little strap lines. Vitamin D is the conductor of the orchestra, if you like. Magnesium makes everything happen quicker and more efficient. Mag is a metal, and so you can't just take metal, because we learned that on the medieval battlefield. The body doesn't like metal shoved into it. What we need to do is take it in an ionic compound, and here's where some people experience problems, because when you look at magnesium compounds, there's a lot of different ones. Mag carbonate, mag citrate, mag orotate, mag glycinate, mag oxide. Which one do I take from them? And the difference between them is generally in the percentage of mag in the overall compound. Now, it's slightly counterintuitive, but what you want is a low mag containing compound for maximum absorption. And for that, you would pick on, say, mag citrate, which is one that I like, or mag glycinate, one of these. And it's very straightforward, because what this does is it will start to crank everything into high gear. There's your YMAG slide. Cellular energy production, nervous system calming and resilience. You notice there's a lot of people with twitches, cramps, nervousness. They're constantly on edge all the time. This can be low, not all the time, but it can be low mag. Blood pressure and vascular control. Oftentimes we see people's blood pressure wildly fluctuating. Glucose and insulin regulation, that's an important thing for cancer as well. Cardiac rhythmic stability. People that have irregular heartbeats and that type of thing. There's a go-to list of these things, and it's going to include magnesium. When we look at, for instance, what would happen to you if you were low on mag, then you'd be looking at something like that. Muscle cramps, poor sleep, high stress levels, the wife throwing dishes at you, hormonal imbalances, constipation, constant headaches, aches and pains, and so on. Therapeutic load of mag, you want 800 milligrams to 1,000 milligrams, which is 800 milligrams to 1 gram of the magnesium portion of the supplement. Now, mag citrate's interesting because a teaspoon of any powder, apart from plutonium, is going to be 5 grams. Right? So if you take a teaspoon of mag citrate, of which the mag is 16 to 20% of that, you're effectively taking that load of 800 to 1,000 milligrams. All right? So I do a drink every morning, which is the vitamin C powder. I do a teaspoon of that, that's 5,000 milligrams of vitamin C complex. I do magnesium citrate, a teaspoon of that, which gives me the 800 to 1,000. And I do a teaspoon of MSM, there it is. This is beloved of those sports managers who want to get their £40,000 a month football darlings back into action after they've injured themselves, and they cram them with MSM, and I'll look at that a little bit in a minute. And that one drink, I just mix it up in water, put a little bit of orange juice, and then drink that down. Again, that's covering a huge wide base of problems right there. And I'm not eating until I get to noon, right? So that goes in, and the body is just kind of gobbling it down because there's nothing else for it to take in. Why 80% of us are deficient in magnesium? If you said to me, what are the 3 major deficiency problems we've got going on in Britain, I would without hesitation say it's vitamin D deficiency, magnesium deficiency, and iodine deficiency. Those 3 right there. Greens, of course, contain large amounts of mag, so if you're eating all the right stuff in terms of magnesium, you're going to be getting good levels of those going in. And at the same time, if you go up the other end of the scale with mag, and you look at something like mag oxide, we use mag oxide. Mag oxide is 80% elemental mag, and we use that for flushing out the bowels. So if you've got problems, constipation, lots of people who are low on mag are constipated. They're also dehydrated. Remember, if you think about the digestive tract, it's a long tube, isn't it? It's essentially your waste material is a train with all sorts of carriages, and you can be on there. I mean, I deal with elderly people sometimes, they haven't had a bowel movement in 12 days. That's almost going to get to the point where they go to the hospital. So what you can do is you can start putting this. You take a teaspoonful of this out, pop it into a glass, mix some water into it, drink that down first thing in the morning when your body is eliminating, and then get a white knuckle grip on the towel rail, because this is going to literally liquefy everything and shunt it out your afterburner, and it all comes out. Coins, crayons, feathers, whatever's been in there all that time. If you want decent stool consistency, then you need to be eating a proper diet, you need to be hydrating, and you need to obviously try to top up with mag if you can. This is something I do every day, and it works pretty good. Next, B complex. Now, vitamin B complex, when you think about the Bs, think about neurological efficiency. So there's your Y vitamin B group. Cellular energy, this is operating in the B group. You've got a whole bunch of different Bs, B1, B2, B3, B9, B6. Yeah, we did B9, B12, be good, be nice, B15, B17. Get the idea? But you've got to take them in their activated forms. Guildford did a fascinating, I was talking to one of you earlier about this, they did a fascinating study with this. They took 2 groups of people going to early stage dementia. One group they give a placebo to, the other group they give high potency B1, B6, B9 and B12, and it was like flick and switch. It just pulled them right out of the fog. Turns out that lot was methylating a buildup of an amino acid byproduct called homocysteine. And oftentimes, if you find yourself not being able to, you're chlorine for words, or you forgot the name of that famous actress and you bloody well should know it, all of this, we get angry with ourselves. That can often be just build-up of homocysteine. And the process used to discharge it is known as methylation. The other thing you need to understand about the Bs is they need to be taken in their proper format. And if you want to just take a photo of that, this is going to show you, we use folate for B9, not folic acid. Folic acid is the corner shop con they do for B9. The B12 needs to be methylcobalamin for methylation, not cyanocobalamin. Pyridoxine is pretty standard. Thiamine, different types of thiamine, but generally that one's going to be fine too. In their therapeutic load amounts, which for the Bs would be, you can just do one of those a day. I actually do one in the morning and I do one in the evening. Next on the list, let's look at, oh, did you get that? Do you want me to go back?
Yes, please.
Okay. Right, next on the list is the one that we all think we know, vitamin C. Number one, vitamin C is not ascorbic acid. Ascorbic acid is just one part of an accumulation of nutrients which collectively cause vitamin C action in the body. That's the technical, scientifically correct thing, to view vitamin C not as ascorbic acid. Ascorbic acid is just the antioxidant wrapper of vitamin C's collective magnesium, calcium, sodium ascorbate, plus the bioflavonoids, rutin, and all of that, locked together with ascorbic acid, which provides vitamin C activity. So the couple of things we need to know, there's your why vitamin C slide, is this is one of your chief components. Ladies, you know all about vitamin C because of collagen, which is skin. 1/3 of your body protein is collagen. Collagen is manufactured, it's this tough, elastic, fibrous material. Collagen is what structures your veins, capillaries, arteries, skin, organs, and it's vitamin C, vitamin E, and 2 amino acids, lysine and proline, in their therapeutic loads, right? So you're going to get high vitamin C action if you're eating a healthy whole food diet. What you also notice is that very high levels of vitamin C wreck the cancer system, the system the cancer depends on to be able to thrive. Which is why very early on, after World War II, we started seeing doctors using high-dose vitamin C drips for people with cancer. It was an outpatient procedure, and they would start doing this while they were changing out the diet and doing all the things we should be doing today, but we're not. Vitamin C is a potent antioxidant. It protects tissues, membranes, proteins, and so on. It also protects DNA from oxidative damage, which is the aging process. So when you think about your aging, you're essentially biologically rusting, you're oxidizing as time goes by. So antioxidants like vitamin C slow that process down. You can't stop it because of the second law of thermodynamics, which is the law of entropy. Everything's tending towards disorder. And what you can do is you can slow it down. Vitamin C, by the way, is not the most powerful antioxidant. We'll be looking at 2 other ones much more powerful than that, like glutathione, which is the big one, and also another one called astaxanthin, which is derived from krill oil. Immune function modulation, iron absorption and metabolism, gene regulation, and cofactors. So it's doing all of that in that drink that I put together in the morning. Scientists uncovered vitamin C's astonishing ability to rejuvenate skin and hormones. Now, when we combine this with something like MSM, I found all the actresses and actors in Hollywood just love MSM, methyl sulfonomethane, we'll get to that one in a minute, because it gives them all glossy hair, glossy skin, and glossy nails. MSM is also brilliant because it stops cancer spreading. It's anti-neoplastic, as they call it. Suzanne Humphries is able to take kids with measles, hook them up to a vitamin C drip, and literally watch the measles lesion change as she's putting the vitamin C into the body. High doses of it. Okay, this is not a new thing. They've been doing this for like 40, 50 years. But it's not. They want all the kids taking MMR and this sort of thing these days. By the way, you wouldn't get measles if you were vitamin D optimized. Next on the list, let's look at vitamin E. E is the other part of the collagen complex, and E has to be natural tocopherol. You're noticing also that there's some quick corner shop versions of these things which don't have the therapeutic effect that you would do if you got the proper lot. And this is all to do with processing, so you've got to be just mindful. With vitamin E, we want natural tocopherol vitamin E. This is an effective treatment for lupus, varicose veins, and severe body burns. Now, just zero in on varicose veins. What is a vein? It's a tube, right? It's a one-way tube, and you know it's a one-way tube because if you were to get a vein and look at it, it runs up like that, and inside it's got these little cusp valves that are shaped so. So the fluid can come up and go through the vein, but it can go through the valve, but it can't come back down because of the shape of the cusp valve. See that? Now, what is the tube made of? Collagen. If you're short of vitamin C and short of vitamin E, what's going to happen to the integrity of the tube? It's going to start to flex and bend and create problems, which means the cusp valve won't close properly, which means you get blowback, and also you get a wiggly vein because it's losing its structure. Get the idea? So when we're looking at cardiovascular integrity, E is a big one on this, and also for heart. So there's your white vitamin E slide. This also modulates inflammatory reactions. So lots of people that are getting joint issues, they're suddenly realizing they've got itching or joint issues or things don't feel right. Phillip, I had the problem that came on a couple of weeks ago. We would go in to examine why is the body inflaming. Sugar's a big culprit for that. Guess what's another culprit? Grains, bread. Remember, modern semi-dwarf high-yield wheat, which we looked at previously, is not the wheat of your grandparents. Krill. Krill itself is a tiny shrimp-like crustacean. We've got a bunch of these in Westminster, and what you need to do is you need to crush them to get the phospholipid fat out. And krill is very interesting because it's a phospholipid fat. It's matching the same fat configuration of your cell walls, which means if you want to put fat into the cells, it will literally melt through the wall because it's the same formation of fat. Now, krill comes with a bunch of payload with the different types of EPA, DHA fats, and also astaxanthin I mentioned earlier, which is this amazingly powerful antioxidant that has a very interesting ability to cross the blood-brain and blood-retinal barrier. So when we're dealing with ocular problems, or if we're dealing with brain issues, Alzheimer's, those types of things, you can load in high levels of astaxanthin and it goes to where it's supposed to be. It's a potent antioxidant in itself, and it's great for arthritis and joint stiffness. High astaxanthin content, also used for cardiovascular support as well. So that's a great tool to use. Here we go, one nutrient shown to cut aggression by up to 28%. What they found in the South Cumbria Alternative Sentencing Options Study, this is up north in Cumbria. What they did was they visited the jails and they took the real violent cases out, people who were, the prisoners who were beating up or even killing other criminals. What they did was they started boosting their diets with fat, took the sugar out, and it was like flicking a switch. So we know there's a major behavioural issue going on here that's linked to diet. And what do we see in the schools? ADD, ADHD, all kinds of behavioural disorders that are then, they put them on Ritalin and all that on. Avoid seed oils, so don't cook with any of this lot. The reason is that these are relatively low smoke point oils that will clog you up. So the stuff you want to cook with will generally be this lot: butter, ghee, tallow, coconut oil, virgin olive oil. Coconut smokes at 171 degrees, for instance, and try to avoid those ones down the bottom which are clogging oils. Okay. Yes?
A lot of coconut oils these days are extracted using a lot of chemicals.
That's true.
So it's actually worse for you. And
Yeah, you need
so
to.
you've got to be very selective in what
Yeah, you absolutely need to. No, you need to be looking at that. That's absolutely right. MSM, let's look at this one. MSM stands for methyl sulfonyl methane. MSM, once again, is used for joint damage. It provides highly bioavailable sulfur, which is a vital building block of joints, cartilage, skin, hair, and nails. Methyl groups are also presented. There's that methyl word again, linked to Alzheimer's, which support many vital biochemical processes in the body, including energy production. Why MSM? So you would typically take this if you were struggling with joint issues, arthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, that type of thing. MSM also has this amazing ability to stop cancer spreading because it essentially shuts down the cancer system that relies on metastasis. The doses of MSM, you're using a powder at this point. You're going to be using anywhere from 1 to 3 teaspoons a day. Remember, a teaspoon is 5 grams. So 1 gram to 15 grams a day. If you take too much of it, you just get loose bowels. So typically what you do is you cram enough of this stuff into you to take you up to what we call bowel tolerance. The following study came out in 2010, and they literally shoved it in a cupboard so people wouldn't find it. It's this one here. And even the language is designed to put you off. Listen to this. Methylsulfone induces loss of metastatic properties and re-emergence of normal phenotypes in a metastatic Cloudman S91 murine melanoma cell line. Yawn, and then you walk out the door. What that actually means is this stuff stops cancer spreading, and they try and hide it. So it's again, you're dealing with teaspoons of this lot, so this would be 1 to 3 teaspoons a day, depending on whatever it is you're trying to fix. NAC. NAC stands for N-acetyl-L-cysteine, and this is the precursor material you put in the body to manufacture your specific glutathione, and glutathione is the king daddy of the antioxidants. Imagine this huge sheet of flypaper impregnated with sticky sulfur onto which the body just dumps a whole bunch of stuff and you excrete it out. Now you can supplement glutathione, but it's not your glutathione, it's just standard stock pharma glutathione. What you want is it customized to your particular phenotype. Why N-acetyl L-cysteine, there's your Y sheet there. NAC is the precursor to glutathione, direct support for liver detox, potent reducer of oxidative stress. This is what we're using to clean people out of the spike protein as well. And you use high levels of this, 2,000 to 3,000 milligrams a day. No upper limit to this at all, what the body doesn't need.